RSX Type S oil pumps. So it's not very complicated. Get yourself some instructions, go through them. It's basically you take it apart and you just measure the clearances. So what you're going to need is a 10 mil socket. You're going to need a 10 mil Allen wrench, a torque wrench to put it back together, and a measuring tool. This one in particular goes from 0.0015 all the way to 0.025. So you're going to need the really thin ones. I think the specs are very thin on this one. You're going to need 0.006 to 0.008 of an inch. So you need one of these thin ones. Don't get one of these, find my other one. Doesn't matter. So, since I'm lazy, just use an impact gun to take this thing apart. So, that's going to be your main bolts. And for the oil pressure regulator, I guess, what do you call it? It's a 10 mil here in the back. And there you go. Bolt, spring, and inside there's a piston, but I don't think I'm going to get it out easily. Anyhow, so how this oil pump works is you basically have an inner shaft with a sprocket on it and an outer sprocket. Basically what it does is it grabs the oil on one side, which would be this side, through the pickup tube, and it's going to suck it in through this side, compress it, and sending out the other side and into the engine block. If you get too much pressure going on, this is why the spring is here. So this spring that goes in there, it regulates the pressure through the piston. So if you have too much pressure, this thing just opens up and lets the oil go back into the pickup part of the pump. So, measuring this pump, not so complicated to do. Just get a little bit of the oil out of the way on this thing. First of all, you should inspect it, see what it looks like. And I can tell you from just looking at it quickly, this one is gone. So, if you look at it closely this way, you're going to see this is the contact area for the pump, and as you can see on this one, there's pretty nasty scarring on it. So I knew this engine was needed a rebuild. Just needed to inspect the pump, and as you can see, there's a lot of scoring. So let's try this with another pump. This is much smoother. Actually, the action here, if you want to test, make sure that the pump is in good shape, you can start by checking if it's smooth. So the drive chain would go around this part and it would actually drive the pump. So that's a good sign to start with. This one was not smooth. So, same operation on this pump. pressure regulator. So, hopefully the camera can show the difference here. You can see the scoring on one of them, which is the one on your left. The one on your right, it has some minor scoring, but definitely much better than the one on the right. No, actually the one on the left. So this is what you're looking for, something pretty smooth. This is definitely junk. So, as per the instructions from Honda, which are here, we have two measurements we need to verify. So there's a measurement between the casting here and the outer impeller, and then there's a measurement between the outer impeller and the inner impeller. So they say new is between 0.015, which is really thin. And you can see here, this one, it goes through, which is, I guess, normal. So let's see where are we at. Let's go to 0.003 of an inch. Oh yeah, this one is starting to drag. Yeah, at this point it's 0.003, so that's pretty good. I guess I'm pretty happy with that. Let's try 0.004. Yeah, that one doesn't go. So we're between 0.003 of an inch and 0.004. Good sign. Now, the second one that we want to check is between the outer rotor and the inner rotor. I'm getting confused with millimeters. So an inch, it's 0.001, which is 0.006. So 0.001, which is the, I have actually 0.0015, which is the thinnest one that I have here, which is giving me, you know, it's going through no problem. Let's try up to 0.003. Let's try 0.005. This one is not going there. So that's pretty good. Let's try 0.003. Here you go. So that one is going 0.004. So we're between 0.004 of an inch and 0.005, which is within specs, which is good. So the last measurement that you need to do, and this you should have a machinist's edge, which is something I don't have since I'm not a machinist, but I have something that I think is pretty close to it, which is basically a ruler. So the idea is you want to check the clearance between the casting and all the spinning components of your so what I do is I take a ruler like this, which is in theory pretty straight, and I put it against the casting like this, right? So then after that we take one of these gauges and we measure the thickness. So service limit is 0.005. 0.005, which is this one, service limit. So you would put this against the casting like this, and then you see if you can slide this anywhere in there. So basically what's happening is if the metal is chewed up, or if there's any issue, it will slide through. See 0.004. Still this one doesn't slide. Let's try 0.002. This one is, even that, it's kind of wanting to go, but it's pretty good actually. 0.002 is not going through. So we're in good shape. So that's the 3 measurements for this pump. Now the last thing I'd like to do with this pump is actually verify the piston here. Make sure that it wants to actuate correctly. So you grab some sort of tool. Here, little screwdriver should do. Try to push this piston in like that. So you see, it actually just came out, so that's pretty good. It means this pump is in a very decent shape actually. So I didn't want to bore you too much watching me put back the pump together. It's pretty straightforward. You put it back together the same way you took it apart. You just need to properly torque the bolts. So the torque for the 10 mil bolts is 8.7 foot-pounds of torque, and the Allen bolt, you have to torque it down to 29 foot-pounds of torque. So there you go. Once you've measured your pump, measured all the clearances, made sure everything looks good inside, check that it's not grinding. I mean, you're pretty sure that you're going to have something successful in your car. There you go. Thanks for watching.